having sex underage. Now, everyone says, oh, bad parenting, bad parenting. I beg to differ on this. How can you blame the parents, right? Okay, I'm a parent myself. You can't keep an eye on your children 24/7. They go to school. When they're older, they move out. You know, that they go and hang out with friends. If they're going to a party and they happen to have sexual intercourse with a young lady in one of the rooms upstairs, what? So that's bad parenting? In a way, yes it is, because I believe as a parent, you should sit your young ones down and educate them with sex, saying, you know, you're not allowed to do it with anybody under the age of 16. However, if it is going to happen, even though I don't recommend it, because there's two places for people that have sex with underage girls. One of them is jail if you're in America, and one of them is prison here in England. But that's only if you get caught, of course. That's the sneaky part of it. Everybody does it. I'm not going to sit here and judge somebody because they do it, because that's not fair to do it. You know, my brother, he was a very young age. He was having sex, and she was underage, and I did slam him for it, and I said, bruv, it's not a good idea. And he was like, well, if no one knows, then fair enough. And it does happen. It does happen, guys, and I fully understand that. But seriously, wrap your snake. It's not hard to put on a condom. Now, I hate the excuse that many men use. I'm allergic to latex. Okay. Well, there's other ways of, wrapping your snake before you open the gate, as such. There's not quite the terms I should use, but before you have sexual intercourse with a young lady, if you're going to have sex with a young lady that's underage, use a condom, guys. Be sensible. There's so many STDs and everything out there. It's just a mad world. Britain, you have severely let us down. For one, is very disappointed. I would like to leave the country, go and live somewhere where, the government actually deliver what they promise. Here's a little bit of Alice Cooper for you here on your Saturday morning programme as he brings you Poison, and stick around as we join All For One with I Swear a bit later on in the programme. You're tuned in to Storm FM with your host DJ Ty. Thank you for joining us, and a very good morning to you. It is 2:13 a.m.
Your cruel device, your blood like ice. One look could kill my pain, your thrill. I wanna love you, but I better not touch. I wanna hold you, but my senses tell me to stop. I wanna kiss you, but I want it too much. I wanna taste you, but your lips are that most poison. Your poison running through my veins. Your poison. I don't wanna break this chain. Your mouth so hot, your web uncut, your skin so wet, black lace on sweat. I hear you calling and it's needles and pins. I wanna hurt you just to hear you screaming my name.
What a great piece of music as we hear from Alice Cooper this Saturday morning here on Storm FM as they bring you Poison. What a great track to chill out to. You're tuned in with DJ Ty, your host for your Saturday morning, bringing you a great selection of feel-good music, debate, and, well, good fun. Well, good fun? What the hell was that, guys? Well, good fun. I don't know where that came from. Please excuse me. little bit of Alice Cooper and Poison for each and every one of you worldwide this Saturday morning here on Storm FM. I hope you're enjoying the programme. This morning here, guys, I'm having a little bit of debate on Britain as a whole and what goes on in our country. Should it be named and shamed? Now, some very interesting conversations have come up from DJ Russ and DJ Mike and DJ Valerie in the chat room. I'd like to share these comments with each and every one of you worldwide. Now, one of the comments that really did take to me, and I was like, you know, you make a real good point, was a comment by DJ Mike. Now, when I was just discussing earlier about, you know, underage pregnancies and kids with kids. Let's state that, guys. It is kids with kids, isn't it? Which is really not good nowadays. It makes us Brits look really bad, that the fact that our daughters are going out there and getting pregnant at such a young age. And is it the daughter's fault because she's not being educated by her parents properly? Or is it because she's not being responsible? Or do we have to blame the guys because, you know, they'd do anything to get inside a girl's trousers and have sexual intercourse? Let's be honest, that they'd promise a young lady the world, wouldn't they, to get what they want, and all guys do it. I'm not going to sit here and defend any single guy in the whole of Britain, because I think that we're all as bad as each other, and I have to say that. And I think that you know, they have urges, and they need these urges to be you know, fulfilled. So they will promise a girl world to get what they want, and I don't think that's a way to treat a young lady personally. That's not the way that my parents raised me. My parents raised me that you do give up your seat for a lady on the bus, and you stand. It doesn't matter how much your legs ache, you stand, you give up that seat, and you say, would you like to sit there, honey, or would you like to sit there, babe, or here you go, there's a seat here for you, young lady, you know, and you let her sit down. Or if a lady with a wheelchair is struggling to get on the bus, you get up off your fat bum and you go and help that young lady in that wheelchair, and you bring her onto the bus or the train. Okay, this is the respect that I think that us Brits should have, but it's gone out the window. Now, this is why I like that new track, Lost Generation, because it's true, we are living in a lost generation. You know, back in my days when I was a little nipper, and I can officially say that because I'm nearly 35 now, guys, been on this world nearly 35 years. 35 years, Christ, really am getting old. 16th of January, guys, just in a few days' time, I'm turning 35. And, you know, back in my days when I was a lot younger than some of the, you know, younger generation that we have on our everyday streets now, you know, you wouldn't answer your mum back, okay? That was just a no-no, okay? You just didn't do that. Your mum brought you into the world. You show some respect. If your mum said, right, I'd like you to get into your pyjamas and I'd like you to go to bed, right? When I was young, me and my brother would turn around and say, yes, mum, no problem, mum. We're getting our pyjamas, we'll go to bed, we'll settle down, because that was mum and dad's time to wind down. They, you know, they looked after us all day. It was our turn to go to bed, so mum and dad can wind down, cuddle up with a glass of wine and watch some TV. Okay, if a guest turned up, okay, kids of today, they just shout and run and scream, and they just run around the living room making loads of noise. Where is the respect in that? Can someone please tell me where the respect in that is? Because I think that's plain disgusting. Okay, my parents always raised me that when a guest turns up, the first thing you do is you be quiet, and you go to the door, you stand at the door, and you greet that guest. That's the first thing you do, which I think is only too right, that you greet that guest that has come to your home. You know, and if your mother or your father turns around and says, okay, we've got company, can you go upstairs and play quietly, please? Yes, mum, yes, dad. And you go up there and you do as you're told and you play quietly, because that's the way the generation should be. That's why, like I said, guys, I love that song so much, Lost Generation. We have missed a whole generation between the generation where young children had respect for their parents up to today's generation where kids just do whatever the beep they like. Okay, they're out there doing what they like. You know, they're answering back. I see kids up here in London, right? They're walking the streets and you look at them and they're like, what are you looking at, mate? Lay you out like carpet boy. You know what I mean? It's like, what? How old are you? You're like 9 years old and you're just, you know, standing there looking up at me. It's like, go to bed, little boy. Go to bed, okay? Don't speak like that. Wash your mouth out with soap. Seriously, I won't have none of that with my children. Absolutely not. I'm a very strict parenting, and I believe personally we should bring back the cane and everything, because teachers back in the 60s and 70s and 80s, right, they, if you spoke out of term in class, you'd get like a board rubber thrown at you. And a lot of the generation out there, if there's an older generation out there that's actually tuned in to Storm FM listening to the debate here with myself, they're probably thinking, you know what, you're so right, DJ Ty. They used to pick up the board rubber and they'd lob it at your head, mate. Okay, and if you were really, really scared, then, well, you should be scared. You should be scared because you'll get, brought up to the front of the class. This is what my dad told me. I obviously don't know because I wasn't born in that generation, but to be honest, it sounds pretty scary. I wouldn't step out of line back in them days. And my dad said that you used to be called to the front of the class and you'd hold open your hand and they'd smack you hard with a ruler across the bare knuckles. Ow, guys. How painful is that? That's back in the days when teachers had control of the children. Teachers have no control. Our police are absolutely useless. Our justice system is useless. Our crime system is useless. We're letting all of these other countries just come in and take our hard paid tax money, and they set up a nice life and everything, and it's like, why us Brits are living on the breadline? Well, not some. Right, I always believe in awkward. I believe in equal opportunity, guys. I don't believe there should be extra poor, okay, rich and very rich. I don't think that's fair. Okay, it should be an equal country. I've always said this. Everybody should be at the same. Everybody should have a nice lump sum of money. Everybody should have a very nice home. Everybody should have, everything they need. Not in a greedy way. I do believe people should work for a living. I do believe, that people should go out and be a part of worker society to get this, but I think everybody should live on the same. I see this stuff on TV, guys, and about these third worlds. They're sitting there with a handful of rice, and half of the time the rice that gets delivered to them is contaminated. That's not fair. It's not fair. It really does bring a tear to your eyes when you think of, you sit down for a meal at your table, and I think everyone takes it for granted. No one sits there and think, we should be lucky that, God has provided this meal for us. Okay, and I know a lot of people would say, if you're not a believer of God, you'd be like, God didn't supply this meal, I did. I just went out into the kitchen and, I cooked this meal, so I deserve it. Okay, fair enough. If you're not a part of a religion and you don't believe in God, then that's, you're welcome to your own opinion, and I'm not one to judge that. I am a Christian personally. I do believe in God, and I do believe we're all, looked after by guardian angels and all that lot, but I believe in different stuff, and that's my own opinion. I feel that I'm welcome to do so like anybody else, but still, overall, we have lost a generation. Our country is going really downhill. We have had a lot of underage pregnancy. Now, this status that Mike made in the chat room is absolutely amazing. He's just nailed it right on the point. Seriously, he says that where he lives, up in Stevenage, half of the girls probably don't even know who the father of their babies are when they're getting young at such a young age, or if they do, the kid probably never sees him because he's got the girl pregnant and then done a runner when he realises the consequences are on him. Do you know what, Mike? I'm actually really proud of you that you've wrote that in the chat room this Saturday morning, because you've nailed it so much on the point. And this is what it is. It's like the guys are quick enough to jump in bed with the young ladies, underage, overage. Well, overage, I don't think there's actually something... I don't think there is such a category as overage, unless you're having, sexual intercourse with DJ Val Elvis, who's our Storm FM granny. If you're having sex with her, then maybe it's a little bit sex overage. I'm sorry there, DJ Val. Love you really there, honey. And, he does make a very good point. And that is what it is like. Now, I thought London was bad, but it seems Stevenage is really, really bad. When you're seeing a 12-year-old pushing a baby along, you're like, a kid with a kid. Seriously, what's that about, guys? I'd love to hear your views on what you personally think of what is happening to Britain and all what goes on in Britain. In the meantime, I'd like to play you the classic old school track from All For One as they bring you I Swear this Saturday morning here on Storm FM. Thank you for winding down with me this morning, and I really hope that each and every one of you are enjoying the programme.
I swear by the moon and the stars in the skies, and I swear like a shadow that's by your side.